was all downhill from there. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. It was pretty much downhill once the original trailer came out, because some of you probably don't remember what happened when that first trailer came out. So they uploaded it to YouTube, and for some reason, the trailer they put out there didn't have any music or the sound effects. I'll give you an example. Here's the regular trailer. This is what the trailer was supposed to look like the moment it came out online.
November 4, 0909er. What the hell?
I guess sound like is the word I probably should have said. That's what the trailer should have sounded like. But there was a brief moment where the trailer was posted and the music and the sound effects were completely gone, and yet you still heard the screaming, the noises from the actors. Case in point, watch this. And yeah, it's pretty freaking hilarious.
What the hell?
I mean, that is pretty freaking hilarious, man. I mean, that is so hilariously bad on a part of a major studio to put that out there at first. And luckily they did catch it, but that trailer was saved by somebody online. But I mean, how can you forget? How could you not look at that and first see that? Yeah, we made a big mistake by putting that out there. I mean, that sounds like. You ever put a video on YouTube, upload a video on YouTube, and then it gets copyrighted because there's music, and they give you an option when in the editor room where it's the editor thing where it's like, you know, you can get rid of the music and keep the sound effects involved in that, and then you do that, and then the video gets re-edited, and then you watch it again, and then it's just basically that's what it basically sounds like right there. That's what it sounds like when when you take the music out of there. I mean, that's literally what it sounds like, but. Even then, it wouldn't have saved this movie, or the Dark Universe for that matter. With all that said, we're about, 2 minutes in, I didn't even tell you to welcome to Time About the Movies. Today, we have got 4 movies on June 9th, 2017. None of them are really all that good. I mean, we're in a slow period of lackluster movies, and every once in a while we'll get some good movies, but yeah, it has not been a good run so far in 2017. I think I actually had this as one of the worst years of movies ever when I did my list last year, but let's get to the reviews you want to hear about. The Mummy. This is, of course, Tom Cruise, starring in what was supposed to be the beginning of Universal's attempt to create their own Marvel Cinematic Universe in the Dark Universe. The movie even opens up with the Universal logo reversing back and revealing the Dark Universe from the other side of the Earth, and it's just like, wow. I mean, that's just, yeah, this is, well, let's get to it, though. Though safely entombed in the crypt deep beneath the unforgiving desert, an ancient princess, played by Sophia Boutella from Kingsman and Star Trek Beyond, whose destiny was unjustly taken from her, is awakened in our current day, bringing with her malevolence growing over millennia, and terrors that defy human comprehension. And the worst part about it is that Tom Cruise was on a pretty good hot streak at this point. I mean, the Mission Impossible movies were great. The Jack Reacher movies were really good. Oblivion was pretty good. Edge of Tomorrow was really good. He had made a lot of really good stuff in this decade, but then when he stumbled pretty badly. I mean, Rock of Ages is one of those examples, which really the movie wasn't his fault. He was the one that was really the one saving grace of that movie was him, and also the music in general. The rest of the movie, not so much, but yeah, not only is this his biggest stumble this decade so far, but this might not only be one of his worst movies he's ever made, it's one of the worst movies of the year, easily. Like, how the hell did you fuck this up so badly? Though, let's be reasonable, once again, I don't think it's the fault of Tom Cruise or even the cast itself. I think they did perfectly fine with the material given to them, and Tom Cruise did have some fun moments in this. Even Russell Crowe, who you find out is Dr. Jekyll, is not bad in this movie, and I like the idea of casting Sofia Boutella as the Mummy. The cast overall wasn't the worst thing about the movie, but the biggest problem with the movie comes with everything else. First off, way too many goddamn visual effects and CG. I mean, I understand you have to have that for a movie like this, but come on. Way too much of this in this movie kills it completely. Right down to the point where they have to repeat the head effect used in the first Mummy movie with Brendan Fraser. I mean, that shit makes me want more of the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies. That's how bad this movie is. I mean, and, you know, we just had the Lee Cronin Mummy movie, which did more with less money and turned out a really good movie in the process. They waste Sofia Boutella in this so badly, man. I mean, you could tell that this movie was the thing that probably killed her career after this. I mean, granted, she was in Atomic Blonde a month later, but, no, this is a movie that literally killed her career and, you know, killed any chance of her becoming kind of the next big star in general. I mean, you have the chance to make a female Mummy in this, and what do? You make her the most cliched riddle bad guy ever. It's another one of those movies where we gotta have the cliched riddle lines to show how evil she is. She wants to rule the world, and it's so absolutely uninvesting or exciting of this character at all. We've seen her be a badass in Kingsman. We've seen her as a badass in Star Trek Beyond. You couldn't have just made her a badass in this movie, but no, because this movie doesn't give a fuck about actually making a good Mummy movie, and I'll tell you why a little later on. But another problem with this movie is the ending. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. It is such a terrible ending. It makes absolutely no sense to anything that goes on in the film, and it just doesn't come together at all. The basic gist of this is that Tom Cruise apparently sucks up the power of the Mummy at the end of the movie, and now he becomes this monsterized... It basically turns into a monsterized version of Quantum Leap, and what Tom Cruise ends up doing at the end. It's just kind of like, what? Like, what happened here? Like, what? How did we get to this point? You know how we got to that point? Probably reshoots, because Christopher McQuarrie, Tom Cruise's buddy, came on board for this movie to rewrite the script for this, and yeah, you could pretty much tell with those scenes in particular. Something else I didn't bring up when I wrote my original review for this was the fact that, for some reason, they not only throw in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with the Russell Crowe character, but no, Jake Johnson from New Girl, who plays the comic sidekick to Tom Cruise in this, he dies, and then for some reason we're doing an American Werewolf in London, kind of, where he's dead, but yet Tom Cruise can still see his vision, still see him no matter where he goes. It's just like, again, I have a feeling that had to be rewrites because it fits to absolutely nothing else going on in this movie. But the biggest problem with the movie is setting up this dark universe. That's just great. Another stupid cinematic universe that nobody asked for, nobody wanted. Just stop already. Stop trying to turn everything into a friggin' cinematic universe, because so far, you have not been able to match the MCU. You want to know why the MCU was so successful? Because they took their time to develop it. The MCU was set up in 2004. The guy who was the chief operating officer of Marvel Studios, David Maisel, he had a plan for a studio to self-finance these films. They had creative control over all these movies. They were putting up the money, making this one of the riskiest gambles of all time. And you know what they did? They took their time to create a cinematic universe. They wanted to see if Iron Man was going to work going to be the big success they thought it was going to be, and then announce the full cinematic universe if it was a success. And that's why that's why at that point the MCU had continued to grow, become the most successful series of films out there at that point. I mean, they were very popular for a good 11 years up until the pandemic kind of screwed them over there. But since then, everyone had been trying to copy that formula, but with half the effort and half the time put together, and it failed miserably. Warner Brothers, of course, did it with the DC Extended Universe, which up until Wonder Woman last week had been seen as a critical and financial failure. Fox was trying to do it with Alien since they got nothing else after Star Wars went to Disney. Sony kept trying to make cinematic universes out of Spider-Man and Ghostbusters. Warner Brothers tried to do it earlier in the year with the King Arthur cinematic universe. Lionsgate was trying to do it around that time with the Robin Hood movie that was coming up with Taron Egerton. I mean, just stop already. It's obvious by looking at these different cinematic universe ideas that the studios have run out of ideas. So they're just looking at what's successful right now, trying to copy that, and this dark universe is no exception to that. There's nothing exciting or promising about this universe whatsoever, and we know good and well that judging by the box office numbers for this was going to fail and destined to fail because there's no effort being put into this. If you need 6 friggin' writers to come in to write one movie, there's a huge problem here. Now, I had an idea when this was happening around this time, if you're gonna try to bring the monsters back from the Universal Monsters into the modern age and do a cinematic universe, get Blumhouse to do it. They can make them very cheap, but at the same time, they'll put more effort into them. And so far, they have been 2 for 3 so far. The Invisible Man was great. Wolfman, not so much. But the Mummy movie that just came out this past spring was really good. And you know what? I mean, I think there's a better future with them doing that than basically what they were trying to do back then. This is just a terrible movie. It wastes a good cast. It has too many visuals. It wastes its leading star, who basically had her career be killed because of this. It wastes time. It's a gigantic mess of a film. I mean, Ghost in the Shell, if that had not come out this year, this probably would have been the worst movie I saw that year. That's how bad this is. It's up there with some of the worst films to come out in 2017. It's that bad, people. So let's see if we can turn the table around with another horror movie, one from A24. This is It Comes at Night.
I'm having bad dreams.
How long has that been going on?
For a while, I guess. Oh, what's the scene? Daddy heard something. We're not leaving this house. The red door stays closed and locked. It's coming! What is it? I don't know!
Back in the days when this director didn't have his career completely fucked over by The Weeknd's Hurry Up Tomorrow. Yes, this is the exact same director that made that movie, except this one's actually kind of good. It focuses on a family hiding in a forest as the Earth is taken over by a highly contagious disease. You have characters played by Joel Edgerton, Christopher Abbott, Carmen DeJogo, Calvin Harrison Jr., and Riley Keough. And it was a well-received movie by critics, but kind of like with other A24 projects, it was actually less well-received by the general public. But then again, they were also kind of like that with The Witch. And there had been some buzz building before this movie came out, as this movie was going to be kind of the next big horror film to come out and really kind of change the game overall. And I will say this though, of all the movies we have here, this is easily the best of the bunch. I mean, this movie really is. What makes this movie really good is the fact that it's the type of movie that most people who go to these horror movies don't like. It's a slow burn horror movie. It's a movie that has to take its time before it gets to the good scares overall. And I thought this movie did a very good job with it. You can see by watching this movie that Trey Edward Schultz is a good director. And he was basically handed the worst kind of luck whatsoever when he got the chance to do Hurry Up Tomorrow. And really lost kind of his credibility after that. But yeah, everybody in the movie is great. You got another great performance by Joel Edgerton. Christopher Abbott's really good in here. Carmen DeJogo's really good. Calvin Harrison Jr. is really good. Riley Keough. The dark atmosphere is really solid overall. And it's not a long movie at all. It's only about an hour and a half. So it's not a movie that, even if it is a slow burn film, it's a movie where it comes and goes. And it doesn't feel like you're sitting there for a long period of time overall. It's a really good movie. It's a movie that I definitely think is a lot better than the audience has let on. It's a film that's worth checking out overall. And, I mean, maybe it's mostly because I do like A24 horror movies. I did like The Witch a lot. And I do think this one is about as good as that one overall. I like it. I think it's really good. So hey, we found one good movie. So let's see what the rest of the weekend has to offer us. Here's Kate Mara starring in Megan Leavey.
You handsome boy. You think I'm afraid of you? Rex, lay down.
For anyone who's ever loved a dog,
We're shipping out tomorrow. We're so not ready for this.
comes a story
Found something!
You just saved a bunch of lives.
of a bond
You wait to get to Iraq to find your inner puppy.
tested by war.
That dog saved my life.
He's not your dog. He's a Marine Corps dog.
I've got to bring him home.
Megan Leavey, rated PG-13, now playing.
So this is a movie based on the true events about a young Marine named Megan Leavey, played by Kate Mara, and a combat dog named Rex. The cast also includes Ramon Rodriguez, Tom Felton, Bradley Whitford, Will Patton, Parker Sawyers, Common, Edie Falco, and to its credit, it's a competently made movie, but at the same time, what makes this movie so special that you have to make a movie off of it? I'm not really up to date on the story of this person in general, but when I watch this movie, it just seems like a movie that's been there, done that before. I mean, we've seen movies about, these military people taking care of these dogs who are going through this tragedy, going through these jobs that they have, with PTSD and all that. And, there have been better movies that have had this setup overall. I mean, Max was pretty good, a kind of underrated, kind of a little film that I actually thought was kind of good a couple years ago. And even Channing Tatum did one with Dog a couple years later. But this one, yeah, there's nothing really all that special or amazing about it. It's just a movie where you're going to get sympathy because, this dog is going through all this trouble, through all this war and all that, and he ends up getting facial palsy and ends up dying because of this. And it's just like, it's just, there's nothing really all that special or amazing about this movie to make me recommend it. It's just a competently made movie. It's fine for what it is if you want to know more about the story, but the regular audience really would not care too much about the story overall. There's nothing really about it that makes it something that has to be seen overall. At least something with American Sniper, I can understand why that movie would have as much of a mass appeal as it did, that become the big hit that it was. This one, on the other hand, it just felt like a movie they were really trying to push more on the dog being in this movie, rather than actually telling a story that is kind of groundbreaking, all that. But again, it's not a bad movie. It's a competently made film, but it's just one that I'm never gonna want to watch again after I watched it. It's just nothing about it just gives me the reasoning to watch it. So let's go ahead and wrap this up here with our last movie, and that is Our Cousin Rachel.
She's here. I believe that she drove my cousin to his death.
What are you going to do with her?
Confront her.
When?
With the dinner, little asking around. She's notorious.
I'm going to bed like a good boy. How easy it must be for a woman like Rachel to twist you around her little finger.
You're infatuated with her. Stay away. You can lose everything. Everything. My Cousin Rachel, rated PG-13.
Or My Cousin Rachel. I literally had the title right there, and I said Our Cousin Rachel, which, I'll say this, though, it's much more harumpian than I thought it was. It feels like a Merchant Ivory movie, like on the level of Howard's End, even though it seems like it's a mix between that and a horror movie, too. Seriously, what the hell is this supposed to be? And the main character of Rachel, the title character, is played by Rachel Weisz, so it could be I also thought it was maybe something of a self-referential comedy as well, but no, it's not that at all. It's a romantic drama where you have the story of a young man in Cornwall, played by Sam Claflin, who meets the widow of her older cousin, played by Rachel Weisz, suspecting of her of being responsible for his death. You also have Holiday Granger in here. It's directed by Roger Mitchell, who gave us Notting Hill, Morning Glory, Hyde Park on Hudson. So, kind of like with Megan Leavey, it's a competently made movie, but it's a movie where you're only going to watch this at least one time. It's a movie that I'm never going to watch again afterwards. It's just kind of like, I give you credit for what you try to do here, but there's just nothing here that makes me say, oh, I have to watch this multiple times. It's just kind of like, it's fine, but there's really nothing about it that makes it stand out or makes it anything unique in general. I mean, Rachel Weisz is really good in this, but then again, it's Rachel Weisz. She usually does not make a lot of bad movies, and even when she does, it's not really her fault. It's just a bad script. This, it's just mediocre. It's one that you see it, it's like vapor. It just goes through your ears and out the other, and you never think about it again the next day. Just like I did with this movie. It's just like, I really don't have no interest in watching this ever again. So there you go. That's my thoughts on my Cousin Rachel, not Our Cousin Rachel. Cross My Cousin Rachel with Our Idiot Brother, and hey, you might have a good movie after that. Then again, it probably wouldn't have helped, because Our Idiot Brother wasn't that great of a movie either. But so anyway, on that note, we're going to wrap this episode of Time About the Movies up here. We're at the midway point of June, and we do have at least one good movie here, Cars 3, which is the movie that, they were setting it up to be kind of the apology for Cars 2. Hey, we're gonna make a movie that's gonna shock everybody because we had that great trailer, teaser trailer, where Lightning McQueen is getting destroyed, and you think it's gonna be this dark movie in the series, and it's kind of not, but in the same way, it's kind of the best in the Cars series, but even then, it's not really saying a whole lot. I'll explain more about that tomorrow. We'll also take a look at the Tupac Shakur biopic, because musical biopics are always good, right? No, of course they're not. And All Eyes on Me is one of those movies where I think a lot of people were drawn to it from the get-go because of the love of Tupac Shakur and didn't care about the actual movie itself. But, yeah, this is a movie that came and went, man. And, yeah, you'll see why when we talk about it. We'll talk about the shark movie of the summer, 47 Meters Down. I mean, we're still about a couple weeks away from Shark Week 2017. And then we have two of the biggest disappointments of the year, easily. Scarlett Johansson, along with Zoe Kravitz and the people from Broad City, working on the raunchy comedy Rough Night, which should have been good, but nope. Just one of the many problems with a lot of these R-rated comedies in 2017. And then we have one of the most interesting failures of all time, man. The Book of Henry, from director Colin Trevorrow. A movie that basically lost him the Star Wars directing job, because he was supposed to direct the third film in the Star Wars sequel trilogy, and then The Book of Henry came out, and then kaboom. So what went wrong? Well, we'll touch on that tomorrow. Should be a very interesting show overall, with 5 films and some notable, interesting stories behind most of them. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.